Now, a lot of Raider news has been going on the past 2-3 days. Reports of Tom Brady potentially being a one and done as a sports commentator for Fox, to take on a larger role with Mark Davis and to really be just involved with the Raiders franchise a lot more. If you're a Raiders fan, you got to be crossing your fingers and praying for that to happen. I know he doesn't have any experience, and I know there's a lot of Tom Brady haters out there, but it doesn't matter what you think about him. That dude knows ball. He's the greatest of all time. And I just feel like he would be good as the vice president or the president of the Raiders. You know, he's already the owner, but I feel like if Mark gives him more responsibility, I think it will work. You know, it worked with an ex-quarterback in John Elway. He put together some pretty good rosters with the Broncos before he parted ways with them. So I feel like Tom and the connections he has still in the league, I just feel like he could do a lot of damage, and I really feel like he could rebuild the reputation of the Las Vegas Raiders. And other Raiders news, they let go of their GM, Telesco. So, gonna be a really hectic, busy offseason for the Raiders and Tom Brady and Mark Davis. Not only are they trying to find a head coach, but a new GM as well. And before Telesco was the GM of the Raiders, he was the GM for the Chargers for about 10 years. Telesco has always been a good drafter. You know, just this past recent draft, he drafted Brock Bowers with the Chargers. He drafted Bosa, Derwin James, Herbert, Keenan Allen too, I believe. So I feel like for the future Raiders GM, they're probably going to try to find a guy that's more balanced in regards to free agency and just overall direction and being on the same page as the head coach, because Telesco also handed Jimmy G, Gardner Minshew $25 million deals and, you know, some other questionable free agent signings as well. And if you really think about it, the last 2-3 years of the Raiders, besides Max Crosby and Brock Bowers, pretty bare bones roster, man. So I definitely think this was the move. If you're going to go scorched earth, if you're really going to start from ground zero and rebuild properly, you might as well get rid of him as well. So I like that move. Now, the Raiders have a lot of head coaching interviews lined up, notably with Robert Saleh, Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn, Todd Monken. But there's another name that has appeared again, and I'm surprised it has, and that name is Pete Carroll. They are set to interview him. You know, Pete first came back in the news with the Bears of him having reported interest with Chicago, and I thought that was just going to be like a one and done situation for Pete, just because, you know, the Bears job is pretty desirable. You have Caleb there. You have a lot of pieces on that offense and on that defense. But it looks like Pete Carroll is actually serious about wanting to be an NFL head coach again. And it's just really surprising to me with his age. And yeah, I'm really surprised about that. I'm really curious to see what Tom Brady's relationship with Pete Carroll is. I don't think there's any real connections there, but I'd be interested to see if they got along. I know a lot of Seahawks fans feel some type of way about Pete, but he is a good coach, man. He definitely is a good coach. Super Bowl champion, of course, in 2014. He really should have been a back-to-back Super Bowl champion if he ran the ball with Marshawn, but it is what it is, man. And his overall record with the Seahawks over 14 seasons, 137, 89, and 1. And you know what, man? The Raiders are a team, a franchise that is just desperate for some level of success. It's one of the most iconic franchises in the NFL. John Madden, Casper, you know, the glory days, man. And it's just been none of that since 2000, since 2010. It's been ugly, ugly stuff. Yes, they made the Super Bowl in 2002, but they got blown out. They got embarrassed. I don't hate it. I don't hate this move for the Raiders. Of course, if you're really starting from ground zero, you would maybe want to hire a guy that's a bit younger, kind of try to replicate what the Niners did back in 2017 when they hired John Lynch and they hired Kyle Shanahan together, something like that. Because like Pete Carroll, like we don't really know how much longer he has as a head coach. Like it could be a year, it could be 2 years. You never know what health issues could occur, but he still seems really vibrant. He obviously wants it, but still, I'd say that's the only downside to Pete. If he was like 60, I'd be like 100%. This makes too much sense. Let's do it. But yeah, very interesting. Very interesting. Let me know if you think Pete should be the head coach of the Raiders or the Bears, or do you think he should just enjoy retirement? You let me know in the comments below. Now, it looks like Mike Vrabel is definitely going to take that New England Patriots job, especially with Aaron Glenn declining an interview with the Patriots. So it's really, all signs are pointing towards that being a done deal. So the next big fish in the free agent head coaching cycle is Ben Johnson. Listen, man, if they could get Ben Johnson, you get Ben Johnson. But I don't know. I feel like Ben Johnson is either going to go to Chicago or Jacksonville. We'll see. If the Raiders could get Ben Johnson, wow. I know he doesn't have head coaching experience, but I just think that would be a really, really good hire. And I just believe in him. I believe in him, and I think you could kind of see the light shine a lot more at the end of the tunnel for this Raiders franchise and this team in general. I just really think Tom Brady is going to come in here and really just change things, man. I know he's only the owner right now, but it is reported that he's going to help out a lot, and I just trust that he knows what a good head coach is. I trust that he knows what a good GM is. And if the reports are true that he is going to be a one and done with Fox, even better news, because he's going to be involved so much more. He's going to be at the facility on a weekly basis. He's going to be watching the team even more. So I think the Raiders are in good hands, man. So whether they hire Pete Carroll, Ben Johnson, Saleh, Todd Monken, I just trust Tom Brady to do the right thing. I really do. And you let me know if you agree with me. Do you trust Tom Brady to do the right thing, or are you not a believer? Are you not as optimistic? I know he doesn't have any experience being a part owner slash, having that kind of power in an organization. But if you really think about it, he did sort of have some influence on his days with the Patriots. Obviously, Bill Belichick was jury and executioner, but he did have some influence on Bill. So I feel like he has a very healthy understanding of the ins and outs of what makes a franchise successful. Let me know what you think about the Raiders and the future of that franchise. If you made this far, please subscribe and like the vid. It'd help out your boy a ton. That's all I got for right now. Peace.
The Jets offense taking the field again. They got everything they could out of that last possession, Phil. A solid touchdown drive.
Yeah, what a productive day so far for the offense. They're mixing it up well. They got confident.
Intercepted. It'll be a touchback. The Jets will try to hold on to the football. This has been one big turnover after another, Phil. Just what the coaches talked about in our meetings with him this week about ball security. It's not happening here.
Well, it tells you the players did not listen to the coaches, that's for sure, because ball security is not what we're seeing out there. I know this. Next week in practice, there's going to be a lot of drills about hanging on to the football.
The Jaguars defense brings in an extra member of the secondary. They'll go nickel.
Pass is intercepted.